Good morning, ma'am and classmates. I'm Katie Cadiz and I will discuss the common forecasting mistakes of revenue. The first forecasting mistake that I will discuss is the linear forecast mistake. The linear forecast helps the entrepreneurs and accounting teams to analyze the relationship between two variables. The two variables are X values and the Y values. For instance, you can observe the relationship between a direct email campaign and sales across a specific time frame. Once you map the relationship between two variables in Excel, you can use the forecast function to predict revenue. This is how you forecast in Excel. First, you will input your X values, which are the dates, and your Y values, which are your actual sales. After you input the dates and the actual sales, you can now input the formula equals forecast parenthesis X, which is the current date, comma known Y's, which are your actual sales, comma known X's, which are the dates of your actual sales, and press enter. This is the simplest formula that you can use in forecasting in Excel. There are also slope and intercept, or the equation, which the formula is slope parenthesis known Y's, comma known X's, close parenthesis, times X plus intercept parenthesis known Y's, comma known X's, and press enter. You can also use the trend formula equals trend parenthesis known Y's, comma known X's, comma X, and press enter. These are the three formulas that you can use in forecasting in Excel. In order to see the line chart of the data, you can select the cells of all the data. Click Insert and click on the line chart. You can also use the scatter chart. Linear forecast is a simple-to-use process that uses historical data to predict future trends, such as revenue growth or product demand. It can also help you to gauge the success of various sales funnel activities or marketing campaigns and their relationship to conversion and sales revenue. The linear forecast mistake is the most basic mistake in forecasting because it is where the entrepreneurs forecast the income that does not support the revenue growth model. Entrepreneurs estimates expenses and sales for the future period and assumes that sales will grow on these assumptions. On the basis of these assumptions, entrepreneurs develop income statements. Those entrepreneurs have strong passion for a specific idea suffer from this mistake. The next forecasting mistake that I will discuss is the hockey stick forecast mistake. Hockey stick forecast is a fairly common concept for people who deal regularly with future plans of one type or another. This is the trend graph that shows general downward trend in performance in the past few periods, actual results, and then a sudden and dramatic upturn in forecast results. It looks like a hockey stick. The business world is full of strategic plans littered with charts like this. It is where performance in an area is expected to improve dramatically year over year. The fact that performance is expected to improve is not as much the issue as trying to understand the underlying logic as to why it will improve. What you have to decipher is if the improvement is related to changes in the product or service mix, margins, or productivity. Hockey stick forecasts can be very useful analytical plots to help you better understand underlying operating assumptions. You can also check to see if the management has the necessary tools to measure and track those assumptions. When companies struggle to hit their budgets, you'll often find a few gaps between what was planned and what was actually managed. The common mistake in hockey stick forecast is very similar to linear forecast, but riskier. Entrepreneurs assumes that sales will begin slowly and suddenly increase dramatically for no documented results and has blind faith on new business. The last forecasting mistake that I will discuss is the 20/80 versus 80/20. The 80/20 rule, also known as Pareto principle, is an aphorism which asserts the 80% of outcomes or outputs result from 20% of all causes or inputs for any given event. In business, a goal of the 80/20 rule is to identify inputs that are potentially the most productive and make them the priority. For instance, once managers identify factors that are critical to their company's success, they should give those factors the most focus. Although the 80/20 rule is frequently used in business and economics, you can apply the concept to any field, such as wealth distribution, personal finance, spending habits, and even infidelity in personal relationships. You may think of 80/20 rule as simple cause and effect. 80% of outcomes came from 20% of causes. The rule is often used to point out that 80% of a company revenue is generated by 20% of its customers. Viewed in this way, then it might be advantageous for a company to focus on the 20% of clients that are responsible for 80% of revenues and market specifically to them to help retain those clients and acquire new clients with similar characteristics. At its core, the 80/20 rule is about identifying an entity's best assets and using them efficiently to create maximum value. For example, a student should try to identify which parts of a textbook will create the most benefit for an upcoming exam and focus on those first. Application of 80/20 rule. To apply the 80/20 rule, Karen decided to assign her 80% to all that went creating the blog, including its content, and as her 20%, she designated the blog's visitors. Using web analytics, Karen focused closely on the blog's traffic. She asked, which sources comprise the top 20% of traffic to my blog? Who are the top 20% of my audience that I wish to reach? What are the characteristics of this audience as a group? Can I afford to invest more? Can I can I afford to invest more money and effort into satisfying my top 20% readers? In terms of content, which blog post constitutes the top 20% of my best performing topics? Can I improve upon those topics and get even more traction from my content than I'm getting now? Karen analyzed these questions and edited her blog accordingly. She adjusted the blog's design and persona to align with those of her top 20% target audience, a strategy common in micro-marketing. She rewrote some content to meet her target readers' needs more fully. Although her analysis did confirm that blog's biggest problem was its marketing, Karen did not ignore its content. She remembered the common fallacy cited in the article. If 20% of inputs are most important, then the other 80% must be unimportant, and did not want to make that mistake. By applying the 80/20 rule to her blog project, Karen understood her audience better and targeted her top 20% of readers more purposely. She reworked the blog structure and content based on what she learned, and traffic to her site rose by more than 220%. That's all. Thank you.